and welcome back to Sip and Spin. My name is Skylar, and over here in a cute little yellow romper is Brittany. Meanwhile, I'm over here dressed like a camp counselor. Wearing a tie-dye Beetle shirt and running shorts.
That's kind of your vibe, though. Camp counselor.
I mean, I was a camp counselor. I officially was like a camp counselor. Like, I went and did camp counseling during the summer when I was younger, so it does track.
There you go. We are a variety podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
Yeah. So how are you?
I am pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a week.
It's always when you take that deep breath after you ask you that question, it's like it's going to go one of two ways.
It's been a week. So Tuesday, I don't even remember what happened on Tuesday, but I just remember it was wild. It was like, I think it was, we were just like so busy and just like had all this stuff to do, and it was pretty crazy. And then Wednesday, we were, one of our bartenders called in sick, so then we had to like find someone to cover. Usually it's me or like my manager who covers, but we had so much bottling to do that like neither of us could do it because we were so busy and we didn't have enough people like at the warehouse, on the warehouse side of things, to be able to let one of us go to do that. So then we were like trying to get a hold of the bartender who called in sick, and we were trying to get a hold of another bartender because it was raining, so we were like, and he owns his own construction business, and that's why he doesn't usually bartend during the daytime, but we were like, it's raining today, he's probably not doing construction. So we were finally able to get a hold of him, and so he came in and covered the bar. And then that same day, our thermal printer that prints the box labels stopped working, so we had to call the guy that we bottle for his bourbon company because he messes with the thermal printer all the time because he is the one who's like needs all the box labels, so he knows how it goes. And then we also called my manager's best friend who works in IT and has like a computer programming major and like works with computers like literally all day long. So it took both of them to finally figure out how to get the printer working. Gosh. And they used my laptop and they printed the box stickers and it worked fine. The next day I went to print box stickers and it didn't work again. So then we used my dad's laptop and his works perfectly fine. So it's just my laptop that doesn't want to print the box stickers. So that's fine. And then Friday was okay.
Okay.
Friday was fine.
Your face says different.
I thought I was going to have to... No, I was just making sure nothing had gone down on Friday. I'm like, no, Friday was fine. I did almost get into a wreck, but it wasn't my fault. So I was in the left turning lane so I could get to go to Dairy Queen. Okay. And there was someone who was at the light on the other side, and I had the green light. Like, it literally was like, not like the lights were green and left turns need to yield. It was green, left turn, if you are turning left, you get to go.
Green arrow.
Green arrow. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I start turning left. And then the person who was in the right-hand lane over there decided they were going to start turning right at the same time and literally almost hit me. I'm like, just because you turning right, yes, you can turn right on red. But if there's nobody coming, like, you don't just get to go whenever you want just because you're turning right. Like, that's not how it works. You do have to wait. You did not have the green light. I did. You still have to wait if you are going to turn right on red. You still have to wait. And they did not want to wait, so that was fun. But it was fun. And then yesterday I worked a double, and so I bartended during the morning and did the cover charge at night, and during the day it was really, really slow at first, and then that kid that comes in all the time, I say kid, he's 21, but so it's fine, but like, he's a kid, came in, and so he was like, oh, do you want to play pool? And I'm like, yeah, sure, like, there's nobody else in here, well, let's play a game of pool. I win, which was surprising to me because I suck at pool. Like, it is awful. Like, I'm really bad at pool. But then we started a second game, and then people come in, so we stopped playing, so then I took care of them, and then after they left, it was just us two again. So we were like, okay, let's finish the game. So we go and we finish the game, and I win again, and this time it was by default, and it's because he got the 8-ball in before. So the first time I won for real, but the second time I won on technicality. But I still won.
Yeah, a win's a win.
But then he starts getting closer to me, and I'm like, what's going on? So I just kind of make a big circle around him to go put my pool stick up. He goes, I've got a question. I'm like, okay, what's up? He's like, when do you work? Or he's like, do you ever get a day off? I'm like, hardly. And he was like, okay, so what days do you work? And I was like, I work Monday through Friday, I work Saturday nights, and then I have stuff to do on Sunday. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, can I take you out to lunch? And I went, no. Then he kept saying about how he's like, I feel bad. I'm like, don't feel bad. Like, you know, you shot your shot. Like, do you? But, like, the answer's no.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just feel so stupid. And I'm like, look, if you don't make it weird, I'm not going to make it weird. And then he just kept going on and on for, like, 10 minutes. Then he was like, said something about, what was the phrase he used? It was like a pineapple something. And I was like, huh? And he showed me a picture, and it was of a grenade. And I was like, what? And he was like,
I don't even know anything about what you're talking about right now. I cannot get the context at all.
So he's still, like, going on and on about how he feels stupid and he feels bad. And I'm like, if you don't make it weird, I'm not going to make it weird. It's fine. But he kept going.
Right.
And then he said something, and I was like, look, it's fine. And he was like, tell me it's fine one more time. Like, tell me it's okay one more time. And I'm like, okay, fine, I won't. Like, be weird about it then. I didn't actually say that, but that's what I was thinking in my head.
It's like, keep being weird one more time.
Yeah. I'm like, all I said was, like, if you don't be weird, I won't be weird. Like, it'll be fine. But then he used the phrase, like, pineapple something. And I didn't know what that was or what that meant. And when he showed me, he was like, oh, here. And he, like, got on his phone and pulled up a picture, and it was of a grenade, and at the bottom it said, like, the pineapple thing. Because I guess they thought the grenade looked like a pineapple. I don't fucking know. I don't know. And I was like, okay, well, you know, just don't blow up my bar. Like, I'll cry. And then he was like, oh, you won't be able to cry. And I was like, what?
Oh, no.
So he basically meant he was going to, you know, explode the bar with me in it. And I was like, this is so fun. This is so funky, so fresh. Great.
And then never know just when to stop.
And I was like, literally the whole time, I was like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel stupid.
Apparently it's not fine. He wants to blow you up.
I know. Which is crazy, because considering the first time he came in the bar, literally he knows I don't like him. The only reason I put up with him is because he pays me. And, like, every time he orders a drink, he tips me every single drink. He doesn't, like, wait till the end to tip me, but he tips me, like, $3 every single drink, and he usually drinks, like, 6 different drinks.
Well, now, Skylar, you obviously owe him.
Yeah, like, now I need to date him to thank him for his generosity.
That was a joke.
Yeah, clearly we were being sarcastic. But yeah, because the first time he came in, he shushed me.
Oh.
Like, we were talking about his drink that he ordered, because I was, you know, talking to, like, CJ, because me and CJ, who does not work there anymore because she moved back to where she is originally from, but we were talking because he ordered a tequila old-fashioned, and I was like, that either can mean 2 things, you know, like, it either means he wants an old-fashioned with tequila in it, or he wants just, like, a standard tequila shot, like, no extra shit, like, just an old-fashioned tequila. So we got it. It was a tequila old-fashioned. He wanted an old-fashioned with tequila in it.
Disgusting.
Yeah, right? Weird shit.
Immediately now.
He was like, so we made the drink and everything, and he was like, oh, what were you, like, he was kind of like, what were you talking about? Like, is there any, and I was like, oh, no, we were just trying to figure out, like, which way you meant it, because we were saying, like, oh, you know, this could mean you wanted an old-fashioned made with tequila, or you wanted, like, an old-fashioned tequila, like, shot, like, no salt, no lime, like, whatever. But while I'm saying this, talking to him about the drink he ordered, he shushed me because he wanted to listen to the song that was playing.
Okay.
And I was like, already, immediately no. Immediately no. And then the next time he came in, he got the tequila old-fashioned again, and then he didn't like it because I used Camarina, and because he kept being like, it's watered down. And I'm like, okay, I'll remake it. And finally, I eventually showed him when I put the splash of water in, I got a different cup, and I went, this is how much water is in your tequila old-fashioned right now. And he goes, oh, well, then I don't know why it's watered down.
Or maybe it just sucks because it's a tequila old-fashioned.
Yes.
And you're a 21-year-old who doesn't know anything.
So I was like, I'm going to let you watch me make your drink. And then he was like, oh, it's the Camarina. Camarina always tastes watered down. And I'm like, well, really, it's the best tequila we've got here. Like, it's the one that everybody likes. Because otherwise we've got Juarez or Montezuma, which are both our well tequilas. At least the Camarina is our shelf tequila. And, which, I didn't say that, but I was just like, whatever. Then the next time he comes, he starts making changes to the tequila old fashioned. And he's like, I want to put hot sauce in it. Do you have hot sauce? And I'm like, yes, I can put some hot sauce in it. And then he was like, okay. And then I want you to add a splash of Miller Lite. And I was like, huh? So I make him this drink. And I make it exactly the way. He writes it down on a Post-it note. And he's like, yeah, I want you to like start adding this to the menu. Call it like the Razorback Special. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to for sure do that. So he wrote it down on a Post-it note. I make him the drink. And then he was like, this tastes awful. And I'm like,
I wonder why.
Shock horror. I'm like, well, what's wrong with it? Like, I made it exactly how you wrote it down. I added the splash of Miller Lite. I added the hot sauce. Like, and he goes, oh, when you gave it to me, I added more Miller Lite. I didn't realize you added the Miller Lite. I was like, well, I made it exactly how you wrote it down. So I added the Miller Lite. And he was like, well, that's my bad. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then this last time he was in here, he wanted the tequila old fashioned with lime instead of orange. And I was like, well, do you still want me to put orange bitters in it with the lime? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And add the hot sauce. And then it's like, okay. And then give me, I guess, I'll take your Miller Lite and add a splash of it. And he's like, I'll do the Miller Lite myself. I'm like, okay, what the fuck ever, dude.
Well, okay. You should ban him from the bar.
And that's just the daytime.
He doesn't deserve to drink.
This is just what happened during the daytime. We haven't gotten to the nighttime shift yet. Like I said, I worked a double.
God.
So we get slammed, and we don't have enough security. We were short-staffed on security. They decided, I guess, that, and by they, I don't mean security, I mean the owners were like, we only need 2 security guards. No, we do not. Because when we have 2 security guards, they're both at the door, checking IDs and doing the pat-downs to make sure no one brings in any weapons. And so those are where those 2 security guards are. We don't have any security in the back now, and we don't have security out by the stage, which is where we're supposed to have 4 security guards. 1 in the back, 1 on the stage, 2 at the front door. Mm-hmm. That's how it's supposed to go. But now we only have 2. Mm-hmm. So we get slammed. People are coming in left and right. I'm having to chase people down because usually the security guard who's on the stage is keeping people from going on the stage who don't need to be up there, and also helping direct people to me so I don't have to go chasing people down because, you know, I'm not very confrontational, and the last thing I want to do is get fucking yelled at or hit because I'm having to like, hey, you gotta pay me money to come in this bar. But I ended up having to do that. So I'm like chasing people down, trying to get people. And then this one guy comes in, and he comes in with his 2 friends. And his 2 friends, I'm like, hey, y'all, it's going to be $7. And they're like, okay, they both pay me. They both get their stamp. And this guy goes, and I'm like, dude, it's going to be $7 because he came up next. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, give me just a second. Then he goes and hides behind his girlfriend, and they start walking further into the bar. And so I go chase him down. I'm like, dude, it's $7. And he goes, okay, yeah, I'm just going to run to the ATM. And I'm like, okay. So I'm literally watching him. Yeah. And then people start coming in, so I lose him. And the next time I see him, he's in the crowd with a beer in his hand. And I'm like, you motherfucker. So every time I find him in the crowd, people would come in, so then I'd have to take their money. And we only have 2 security guards who are at the door, and they're busy because people are coming in. And then I can't tell the bartenders because we only had 3 bartenders, and they were all busy because we were slammed full of people. And this happened multiple times. I'd find him in the crowd, get ready to be like, hey y'all, that motherfucker owes me money. And normally I would have let it go if it wasn't for the fact that he was so brazen about it. Yeah. The fact that he tried to hide behind his girlfriend, and I told him multiple times. And then finally, after the back and forth of like finding him, losing him, finding him, losing him, I found him back by the dartboards. And I turn around, one of my security guards, he's not busy. I'm like, he's by the dartboard, get his ass. Get him. I'm like, he did not pay me, and this is what he's wearing. He needs to pay me $7. Because at this point I'm pissed. Because I spent this dance has been going on for 45 minutes.
I'd be pissed too, yeah.
And so they start walking towards me, and then he turns around again and goes back into the bar, and my security guard was like, dude. And he was like, no, I just need to go check something with my friend. So my security guard follows him to his friend and then walks both of them back to me. And then he starts going, oh, I didn't know I had to pay $7. Like, I was like, yes, you did. I told you multiple times. And he was like, well, I just thought you were joking or picking on me because my friends didn't have to pay. I went, yes, they did. You see your friend right here in the white t-shirt that you brought with you? He's got a stamp on his hand, and your other friend has a stamp on his hand. You watched me take their money and stamp their hands while you were standing behind them. So don't tell me that they didn't have to pay, because they did too. And they did. They were nice about it. You're being an asshole. So then that whole thing got settled, and I'm like, finally, I can relax. It's fine. And then I get a text message from one of the owners, and he's like, get that dude out from behind my bar. And I'm like, huh? So I look, and one of our regulars was bar backing, like, you know, restocking the beer fridge, making sure the ice buckets were filled. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, I think he was just back here bartending because Andrew said we needed help. And I was like, but I'll show this text message to Meezy. And, you know, so then I texted him back and Meezy, and I was like, okay, Meezy took care of it. He's back out in the crowd. And so then I had to deal with that. And so finally I'm like, I can relax. So I got another glass of wine, taking people's money, gets pretty busy. And then all of a sudden, I see both security guards just running into the crowd. And I'm like,
Gosh.
great. So there was a fight. And it was with one of our regulars, who's one of my dad's friends. And I guess the other guy, like, put him in a chokehold or whatever. And then so one of the security guards was off duty that night, but came in with his friend. So then he got involved because he was like, well, you know, I mean, I'm off duty, but I got to do something. Yeah. So then he got kicked. And so and I looked, and there was a giant, like, knot and, like, on his leg. So he got kicked hard. And so then that guy got arrested, which I didn't arrest, you know, my dad's friend, like, but it was just a whole mess. And so finally, I got off at 1 a.m., and I had myself another glass of wine, and I sat down in the back by the pool table, drank my glass of wine, and I was like, I'm going the fuck home. And I went the fuck home.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like it's a good thing you didn't have to house sit for me then.
It was
a long night.
It was crazy. And oh my God, I think I lucid dreamed for the first time. Like, so. Okay.
Well, that takes it out of you too.
When was it? Was it Friday night? I don't think it was Friday night. I think it was Thursday. No, it wasn't Thursday night. I was busy Thursday night. What night was it? Oh my God, was it Friday night? It might have been Friday night. Because I think I, like, took a nap really late. Mm. And yes, because it had to have been Friday night, because I told my dad when he came into work the next day, because he stopped by the bar for a second and was like, do you want any breakfast? And I was like, no, I left early enough to get myself coffee and breakfast, so it's fine. And but I was telling him about it, because I literally felt myself falling asleep, but I had, like, napped really late. But then I was, like, still tired, so, like, I was, like, laying down, and I could feel myself falling asleep. Like, my legs locked up, and I could feel them get really heavy, and, like, my knees were locked. I literally could feel, like, my consciousness slipping away, and it felt like it was, like, literally leaving my body. Like, I was just seeing it leave my body. Like, it was really weird. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And then so it kept freaking me out, because I was like, oh my God, my soul is leaving my body. I'm gonna die.
This is it. This is the big one.
Because I've never felt myself, like, fall asleep and be, like, in between being awake and being asleep before. Like, that has never happened to me. Usually I'm awake, and the next thing I know is the next morning, and I don't know how I got from point A to point B.
I get in that in-between state a lot, and it's draining.
Yeah, I've never felt that before. It was so weird.
It happens to me all the fucking time.
But then I think I realized that I finally let it happen, because I was like, I don't think I'm dying. I think I'm just trying to go to bed. So I let it happen, and then, like, I've finally just let, like, because I don't know how to explain it, but, like, the best way is, like, the consciousness leaving my body. So I finally just let it completely go and get out. And then I was like, so now, am I asleep? Does this mean I'm asleep? Like, what is this? And so then I was like, okay, maybe I'm dreaming. And then so I started trying to lucid dream. I was like, can I control this? And I could. And I was like, this is actually kind of sick as hell. I was like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah. Lucid dreaming's fun. It makes me very tired, though, when I wake up.
Yeah, but then the next day, like, or not the next day, but at some point, I, like, fully went into sleep.
Yeah.
And went into, like, because I started having a different dream, and I could not control that one. It was just like, and I wasn't trying to control that one. It was just like watching a movie. I was just like, okay, so this must mean I'm for real dreaming right now.
Yeah. How are most of your dreams? Are they like a movie and you're watching them, or are you participating, even if you can't control?
It depends. Most of the time I'm participating. I think most of the time, I think all the time I'm participating. I think the best way to just was like I'm watching a movie because like it was like we were having like a family reunion except none of my family was there. It was like Lexi and Haley and like so it was like I was like I don't know what's going on, but we were like in a cabin and I think we were playing Pictionary. So it was
that's nice.
but there was a really nice blanket. I remember that about the dream. There was like a couch and the couch was it had like wooden on the sides of it, but then like padding, and it had like a blanket thrown over the back. It was a really nice blanket. It was like I don't know. That's my distinct memory.
Best dream ever. A great blanket.
We were in a cabin. We were playing games, and there was an excellent blanket.
I mean, that sounds like a great time. That's funny.
But yes, so that has been my time this week.
All right. Wow. Sounds like you might need something that we have. What is it?
So we're drinking white wine. I'm so sorry. I talked for 23 minutes about my week. You just have to deal with it. It's fine. Cheers.
If they were here last week, they dealt with a lot more of you talking.
Yeah, that is true. I like to talk, y'all. I'm sorry.
That's why she has a podcast.
Yeah, that's why I have a podcast, so I'm not sorry. Yes, it will be a lot shorter this week. I promise.
Oh, you're good. In fact, maybe it should be longer.
It's like 6 or 7 pages.
Okay. It's about average one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot shorter than 36 pages.
I mean, most of everything we've done has been shorter than 36 pages. Historically.
I got close a couple times, but...
Well, what are we talking about today?
So we're talking about psychology.
Yes.
Yes, I'm super excited. I changed my topic a couple times because I told you that this is what I think I'm going to do, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind again, and then I changed my mind back to what I told you I was going to do last week. So we were still doing what I told you I was going to do last week, but there was a whole process. Because I realized I never continued when we were still recording in Richard's office. Like I told you I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll do a part 2 of like the other altered states of consciousness, and then I just never did it. Like 70 episodes ago.
You said maybe. To be fair,
that is true. So I was like, maybe I should do that, and then I still did not. So it's
fine. No biggie. Anything else?
I'm drinking the Sea Glass Pinot Grigio. So last week I had the Sea Glass Pinot Noir because I told you like I really liked the Sea Glass brand and I really liked their Pinot Grigio. And so since we got white wine, I figured I would drink the Sea Glass Pinot Grigio, and I'm enjoying it very much. It is delicious.
Full circle.
For continuity purposes, because I haven't continuity'd anything else clearly because I still didn't continue half the things that I'm like, I'll do a part 2. I never did. So this is the only time I've done a part 2 of anything.
You know, for alcohol. That's what it's like here.
It tracks, though.
I guess that's...
I don't have anything else,
okay.
I promise. I promise I'm done. That was it.
You're fine. I don't have a topic this week.
Oh, okay.
So, full disclosure, I don't have anything.
Okay, so I'm really glad, because one of my options was, what if I just don't do something this week? Because I did such a long segment last week, maybe I should take a break.
Well,
but then I was like, I really like psychology.
Just say this is your category.
I don't want to take a break on this category, but I considered it for a second.
That would have been awkward.
We'd have had to do an impromptu just chatting, which I took up 23 minutes of just chatting, so...
Probably could have. Smug it. No, I don't have anything, so I'm sorry about that. I couldn't think of anything I wanted to do. Like, psychology's cool, it's interesting. It was never my favorite thing, so I'm in no way, like, an expert or knowledgeable really at all. I took psychology at an art school. I think I've talked about that before, so, like... It wasn't in depth, and I didn't pay attention that much. And so, like, the ones I've done in the past, they've all been, like, really light and silly. And, like, attraction, it's kind of bullshit anyway, so I can talk about that without feeling pressured. Color, I do know color theory, because I went to art school. And then Little Spoon, I just thought was funny. And then it got a little deeper, but I I still felt comfortable talking about it. So I couldn't really think of anything that I would be, like, comfortable enough to talk about it without just reading a paragraph to you guys verbatim. So I just thought, I'm just gonna sit this one out because nothing came to mind. If I can't make it fun, I probably won't do something on a serious topic like this, just because I don't talk about stuff if I don't know about it. So yeah, hopefully that's okay.
Well, I guess I will jump in because I've got something to talk about. I do like to read you guys large paragraphs in chunks, but usually it's not verbatim. I usually throw some stuff in there, and usually when I write my paragraphs out, will be like, this is what I wrote down, but let me add this into it, even though I didn't write that down. And so, but today, I kept it short on purpose because I was like, I did so much last week, I'm not going to do a lot this week. So today we're going to be talking about developmental psych. And obviously, clearly, there's a lot that goes into developmental psychology. But like I said, after 36 pages last week, I'm not going to do that again this week. So I'm going to keep it pretty contained, and I'm just going to do the two main theories of developmental psych. Because obviously, you can get into conditioning and behavioral stuff, and that can be considered developmental psychology. And then you get into how your gender identity develops and when that develops, and then nature versus nurture, which can be its own topic in of itself, but that also includes developmental psychology. And then you can get into Kohlberg's moral theory, which also has to do with developmental psychology, because your morality develops at different stages of your life, which is what developmental psychology is. It's how you develop at different stages of your life. But instead, I'm like, we're just going to do the two big ones.
Okay.
So the first is called it's called Piaget's stage theory, and it's by Jean Piaget. And this theory focuses on cognition and cognitive development. The cognitive perspective of psychology deals with memory, intelligence, perception, learning, etc. And then Piaget proposed that cognition develops through distinct stages from birth through the end of adolescence. The first stage is called the sensory motor stage. It lasts from birth to 2 years. Children begin learning about the world through the use of their senses and motor actions. So infants usually touch, manipulate, look, listen to, and even bite and chew objects. Like if you've ever been around children, one of the things they want to do is grab literally everything within their sight, even if they shouldn't. But it's because that is how they are trying to learn about the world. They just want to figure things out, and so that's how they do it. It's just by touching and just interacting with it with their senses. This is also when babies begin to develop object permanence. Piaget did an experiment where he hid a toy underneath a blanket, and older infants would look for that toy, but younger infants did not. It's why young infants like peekaboo, because they get so excited to see your face, because when you hide your face when you're playing peekaboo, they literally think you've left. Yeah. Like, they think you don't exist, because they don't have object permanence. But as you get into, the older infants, they start to understand object permanence, and just that something is hidden doesn't mean it's gone.
Do you know what shows an actually, weirdly kind of accurate description of, child development? The Sims. Especially with the new, you can have the infants and stuff. Mm-hmm. You actually have to, do certain things with them, play peekaboo, to, get them to, develop their, motor skills and all this.
Yeah.
You have to actively do it. And then when they become toddlers, you have to, keep, it's all the different stages. So, weirdly kind of accurate. Of course, it's in its weird, goofy sim way, of course. But it is, it weirdly, tracks. It's a good example of, how that works.
Yes. And then the next stage is the pre-operational stage. It lasts from ages 2 to 7. Children will use their new ability to represent objects in a wide variety of activities, but they do not yet do it in ways that are organized or fully logical. So this is when children get engaged in imaginative activities and are starting to think on two levels at once, one being imaginative and the other being realistic. This dual processing of experience makes dramatic play an early example of metacognition, or reflecting on and monitoring of thinking itself. They play make-believe and can even understand symbolism at this point, which means they can take a stick and pretend it's a sword. They're using the stick as a symbol for a sword. Mm-hmm. So they're starting to understand symbolism. At this point, children still remain egocentric throughout the pre-operational stage. This means they cannot understand that other people think in different ways to them, or that events that take place are not always related to them. It's kind of like how in elementary school, like, you would find out that, like, your friend's parents were divorced, and my parents never being divorced, I was like, wait, that's like a real thing that happens? I thought everybody had a mom and a dad and had grandparents, and then I thought everybody didn't know their dad's side of the family. Like, I was like, nobody else in the world, like, knows their dad's side of their family. They only have one set of grandparents, and you always go to your mom's on holidays. That's how it works. Obviously, that is not how it works. But when you're in between the ages of 2 to 7, that's how you think it works.
Yeah.
Children at this point, I skipped a line. The next stage is the concrete operational stage. So you've got the pre-operational and then concrete operational. It lasts from ages 7 to 12. Children begin to grasp the basics of logical reasoning, demonstrating abilities such as reversibility, decentration, and other conservation skills. Conservation is the understanding that something stays in the same quantity even though its appearance changes, like being able to understand that when water is taken from one glass and put into another glass that's a different shape, the amount of water is still the same. Or if you line up something like checkers, like you put checkers in a row, even though if the top row is spread out more and the bottom row is all pushed together, it's still the same amount of checkers in both lines. That's what conservation is. And then children can logically solve problems at this point, but they typically cannot think abstractly yet or hypothetically. They can only solve problems if it applied to them in actual objects or events, like if they understand how it applies to them and the real world. Children at this point can begin to group objects by common features, such as grouping animals into birds, mammals, reptiles, etc. They can also understand that objects can belong to multiple categories at the same time. Children understand that numbers or objects can be changed, then returned back to their original state. And this is also when they understand, like, 5 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 5. Or 5 plus 3 equals 8 is the same as 8 minus 5 equals 3. And decentration refers to the ability to simultaneously consider multiple aspects of a situation or problem. This allows children to move beyond a focus on a single aspect of a situation, a tendency known as centration, which is characteristic of the pre-operational stage. And then the last is the formal operational stage. It lasts from ages 11 to adulthood. Children become able to reason not only about tangible objects and events, but also about hypothetical or abstract ones. Adolescents can think about their own thought processes, reflecting on how they learn best or understanding why they might have made a mistake in judgment, which is referred to as another form of metacognition. This is also the stage where complex analogies can not only be understood but made. So usually in like the stage before it, they start to understand analogies. Like, if in elementary school, if you remember, like you would have to do like, this is to this as this is to this.
Yeah.
Very simple analogies. But now in the formal operational stage, that's when you can start to like not only understand complex analogies, but also make your own.
Okay.
And so that is Piaget's stage theory.
Oh, okay.
He only has 4. Now the next one's a little bit longer. It is Erikson's stage theory. So it was created by Erikson.
Okay.
Yeah. Eric, the son of Eric. And it deals with social development and social psychology. So a lot of times these theories don't cancel out each other, because a lot of times in psychology...
I was about to ask, is like one more thought of than the other, but you just said they don't even like compete, really?
Yes, because they're two completely different. Like, Piaget's deals with cognition, whereas Erikson's deals with social psychology.
Gotcha.
Because, like, if you take, like, dream theory, which I think I talked about in the first episode, how there are 3 different theories of dream theory, and, like, you can kind of work them in together, but really they're kind of competing theories, whereas these don't necessarily need to be competing because they deal with 2 separate, 2 separate instances of, it's 2 separate ways of development.
Yeah.
One deals with, like, physical, like, thinking, mental, like, actual, like, mental activity, logic, reasoning, whereas this one is, like, social theory.
Yeah.
So it is split up into 8 different stages, and each stage is split into 2 sides, 1 negative and 1 positive, depending on how the social interactions around them shaped them.
Okay.
So your first stage is going to be your trust versus mistrust. This happens from birth to 1 year. So if a child's basic needs were consistently met and on a schedule, that predictability leads to trust. whereas the alternative means they learn that unpredictability will lead to mistrust with the adults in their life if the adults didn't meet their needs growing up. The next stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt, and this happens from ages 1 to 3 years. Toddlers realize that they can direct their own behavior if they do something wrong and it is handled correctly by a person of authority, parents especially. They learn that they are autonomous and direct their own actions. If handled incorrectly, they will doubt their ability to make decisions and try new things because they are worried about doing something wrong, and they will always feel like they need someone to tell them what to do. The next stage is initiative versus guilt, and this happens from ages 3 to 5 years. Children begin to assert their power and control over the world through directing play and other social interactions. Children who are successful, and this uses quotes like children who succeed at this stage or children who fail at this stage, but really it's like children who had their needs met during this stage, or children who were, treated correctly in this stage, and
not like they took a test and failed.
And not like it's the child's fault that they failed this stage. It's usually the social interactions that they had growing up led them to not be able to learn this skill because of the way that they were treated and the way that situations were handled with them from people who were in a higher authority than they were. But the easiest way to say it is success versus failure. But I don't want you to think I'm saying, the child is solely responsible for whether or not they succeed or fail at this stage.
Yes.
So yes, children who are successful at this stage feel capable and able to lead others. Those who don't acquire this skill is left with a sense of guilt, self-doubt, and lack of initiative. Children need to begin asserting control and power over the environment. It's also how they learn to stand up for themselves. It's how they learn to take initiative, especially during schoolwork or at a job, hey, this is what I can do and I'm going to do it. Success in this stage leads to a sense of purpose. Children who try to exert too much power and experience disapproval will result in a sense of guilt. They feel like they've always done something wrong, and that every time they try and assert themselves, then that means that they start to feel like they don't have a right to assert themselves because people made them feel bad about it.
Okay.
It hits a little close to home,
doesn't
it? Doesn't it?
A little bit heavy to drink.
Yeah, me too. We have childhood trauma here.
Yes.
Yeah, especially that these first 3 especially.
Yeah. A little rough.
The trust versus mistrust. I don't really trust adults. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an adult.
I don't trust anyone. I don't trust myself.
The autonomy versus shame and doubt. Yeah, I feel
Yeah. It's also just wild it happens from such a young stages too. It's
yes.
Great. So we're just screwed from the beginning.
Yeah,
it's all up to other people.
Because, if parents don't handle situations correctly, you can fuck up your kids. And that's why I don't want kids, because that shit's terrifying.
Oh yeah, I cannot.
It's too much responsibility.
I can barely be responsible for myself. Let's be honest.
It's crazy.
I woke up this morning and had a beer and pasta salad for breakfast. I can't take care of a kid. Are you kidding me?
That's okay. I got a notification from CoStar this morning saying it's time to wake up, and I went, no. The notification came in at 10:45. I was still in bed. And then when I saw that notification, I went, fuck you. I'm staying in bed even longer. And I didn't get out of bed until 11:15.
Just to spite you, CoStar.
I'm I worked a lot yesterday. I deserve to lay down.
Yeah, about that time, CoStar was telling you to take off. Get up. I was probably cracking my beer and eating my pasta salad.
There you go. I had hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts.
Good decisions all around.
Okay, so the next is industry versus inferiority. And this happens from ages 5 to 12. Children begin getting new opportunities to learn, and then through social interactions, children begin to develop a sense of pride in their accomplishments and abilities. Children need to cope with new social and academic demands, and children who are encouraged and commended by parents and teachers develop a feeling of competence and belief in their skills. And then those who receive little or no encouragement from parents, teachers, or peers will doubt their abilities to be successful. That one hits a little close to home, too.
It's so fun here.
It's so fun. I'm trying very hard not to overshare and just be like, here's how this fucked me up and how I didn't pass this. I failed this stage.
Failed.
Yeah, quote unquote failed. And then next is identity versus role confusion. And this is your adolescence years, so like 13 to early 20s. This is where one develops a sense of personal identity, which will continue to influence behavior and development for the rest of a person's life. Teens need to develop a sense of self and personal identity. Success leads to an ability to stay true to yourself, while failure leads to role confusion and a weak sense of self. During adolescence, children explore their independence and develop a sense of self. Those who receive proper encouragement and reinforcement through personal exploration will emerge from the stage with a strong sense of self and feelings of independence and control. Those who remain unsure of their beliefs and desires will feel insecure and confused about themselves and the future.
I feel like during this stage I probably just learned how to mask because I am not a real person.
I have that thought a lot.
I do not know who I am underneath it all.
We take those like personality quizzes. I'm like, I don't know the answer to this. What do you think?
Yeah, I know.
Literally on our YouTube video, you were like, I can't answer any of these for you. And I was like, aw, but I don't know.
I don't know who I am.
I'm like, I just made up shit and like hoped for the best. And I'm like, I guess this is it.
Yeah. No real identities here.
So this next one is intimacy versus isolation. This happens in your early adulthood. So young adults need to form infinite loving relationships with other people. Success leads to stronger relationships, while failure results in loneliness and isolation. This is also where you kind of get into Erikson thinking, starting to believe that these stages piggyback off one another. So like if you have failure, then this stage, it'll be harder to get success in the next stage. Like they're not all independent of one another.
Okay.
Like usually they piggyback off one another.
Okay.
So Erikson believed, and heavy focus on Erikson believed, that a strong sense of personal identity was important for developing intimate relationships. Studies have demonstrated that those with a poor sense of self tend to have less committed relationships and are more likely to struggle with emotional isolation, loneliness, and depression.
Yeah. Checks out.
So next is generativity versus stagnation. This is your middle adulthood stage. Okay. So adults need to create or nurture things that will outlast them, either through the form of like having children or creating a positive change that benefits other people.
Oof. And oof.
Success leads to feelings of usefulness and accomplishment, while failure results in shallow involvement in the world. During adulthood, we continue to build our lives. Those who are successful during this phase will feel that they are contributing to the world by being active in their home and community. Those who fail to attain this skill will feel those who fail to attain this skill will feel unproductive and uninvolved in the world. That was a weird set of vowels, all one right next to the
right back to back.
It got a little confusing and muddled there in the middle, but that's okay. I fixed it.
You got it.
And the last stage is integrity versus despair. It is your late adulthood till you die, basically. Woo! So this is the stage where people start to look back on the events of their lives and determine if they are happy with the life that they have lived or if they regret the things they did or didn't do. Older adults need to look back on life and feel a sense of fulfillment. Success at this stage leads to feelings of wisdom, tranquility, spiritualism, where failure results in regret, bitterness, and despair. People reflect back on the events of their lives and take stock. Those who look back on a life they feel was well lived will feel satisfied and ready to face the end of their lives with a sense of peace. Whereas those who look back and only feel regret will instead feel fearful that their lives will end without accomplishing the things they feel they should have. Mm-hmm. That is Erikson's stage theory.
Erikson, my man. I gotta be honest, I feel like I failed all of your stages.
You haven't even met 2 of the stages yet.
I mean, kind of.
You're still a young adult.
I'm old. You tell me I'm old all the time.
You're still a young adult.
I'm already looking back at my life in despair every day. That's why I drink. So I'm not mad about it.
I drink because I failed all the earlier stages.
Oh, I definitely failed those.
Where'd you get all this childhood trauma? I got it from my mama.
I'm a mixed trauma bag.
Yeah, no, but that one that was the industry versus inferiority, like the ones before that already hit home, because you know that like I already like feel self-doubt and like I'm never sure if I'm allowed to assert myself, and especially like when we worked at the place we used to work at and I would just like let myself keep getting mistreated all the time.
Yeah.
And then, because, you know, growing up as a gifted kid in school, when you're at that early stage, and they're like, you get to go to the GTA, gifted and talented, like, here's where you go. And then when you get older, and then GTA no longer exists, and then you realize you're average, and then you get in trouble all the time, even though you're doing your best, and you're like, I just can't do anything, ever.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes out here, because I'm like, I don't know if, like, this, like... I mean, this is what I'm talking about today, but hopefully I'm right. And if it's not right, I did my best.
Oops. Yeah, we're just, that should have been the podcast name. Just trying our best.
Oops.
Failing Erikson stages, the podcast.
That could be the title of this episode.
Yeah. Could be. Probably will be.
I learned my sensory motor. I got Piaget's down pat. Like, Piaget, I did every one of his correctly. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Erikson, not so much.
Yeah. Gotta be honest there. I think I kind of dropped the bag on that one. Wow. That was much shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, like I said, I kept it very succinct.
Yeah.
And just trying to keep it to the main two, and then like didn't go into too much crazy detail. It was just like, let me just lay it out for you instead of
the building blocks.
Trying to give you a whole lesson into one episode like I did last week. I figured y'all needed a break. I needed a break.
That's fair, yeah. You did talk a lot last week. You got through it though actually surprisingly faster than I thought.
So did I. I was like speeding through it, just like barreled right on through it.
Yes, I'm surprised your throat didn't hurt afterwards.
Oh, it did.
Oh, good.
My throat hasn't felt good all week since last week.
Oh.
It originally was because I kept talking so much last week, and then the weather hit, and then then it didn't get any better because it was just like...
That is fair. Well, I guess we should spend.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have anything else.
It might be a shorter one this week. I mean, it is going to be a shorter one. Anything compared to last week is going to be shorter, to be fair. To be honest.
I didn't even look at how long it was. The only thing I looked at was the podcast number, but I didn't actually look to see how long the recording time was.
I got it down.
How much of my useless psychobabble of think pieces did you cut out?
No, I kept it all in.
Oh.
Like I said, it's a long one. We recorded like maybe exactly 3 hours.
Uh-huh.
And I got it down to 2 hours, 48 minutes.
Ah.
So I really just edit out a lot of the long pauses and some of the ums and the just to make us sound smarter, because there are a lot of ums that we don't.
Going, oh, I skipped the line I was supposed to read next.
Yeah, and sometimes I bleep out some of our, like, if we get stuck on a word or something, but sometimes I'll leave it in if it's funny and we laugh about it or something, or if it sounds weird if I cut it out. But yeah, cut it down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit.
It's still not longer than our literature episode.
No.
Red, White, and Royal Blue I still think is our, or no, not Red, White, and Royal Blue, Song of Achilles is still our longest episode.
It's our longest one, yeah. Which that was fun.
It was good. I thought about rereading it, but then I decided I don't hate myself that much.
I don't want to be sad right now.
So instead, I'm going to watch reality television.
There you go. I feel sad for other people.
Realize that my life will never get to that point, so it's probably okay.
We're good.
Oh my god, I started watching a new reality television show. It's a gay dating reality show.
Okay.
Yeah, so I never get to see like queer reality dating shows. Like it's always straight couples.
Yeah. Exclusively,
literally. So I found one that is a gay dating reality show. So of course I was like, I had to watch it, and I started it today. And that's also why it took me a long time to decide if I wanted to take a nap or take a shower, because I didn't want to stop watching the show.
That's fair.
And it's really good, and it's actually really cute. Like, it's not like drama and like, you know, like crazy people, I feel like, that are being put into this situation, and then like,
because I was about to ask, like, is it like crazy terrible? Because that's how most dating shows are.
No, like, I literally, during the first episode, I was like smiling so hard because they were on, like, so they drew cards to like go to a certain place, and they had to go to this location, and then it was originally like, you know, you were going to meet up, it was like a blind date. So if two people drew the same card, they went to the same location, they had a blind date, and that's how everyone got introduced to each other.
Okay.
But there are 6 people, and instead of doing 3 separate ones, they did 2 and 2, and then like after like a half hour, like whatever time had passed, they didn't really specify, but then it was revealed that the 3rd person and the 5th and 6th person weren't going on their own blind date. They were joining the other date. So then they were just having like this group hangout, getting to know each other. And so they were just like talking in this little coffee shop and like getting desserts, and
it's like a very they do it a lot in like Japan, like
it's
like
South Korea.
Okay,
It's a gay dating show set in South Korea.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, progressive.
Yeah, and apparently it's on its 2nd season, and I started with the 2nd season.
Oh wow.
And because I was like, I saw like this clip on YouTube. It was like one of the YouTube shorts, and it was like reality TV, Korea, and then had the title, and so I was like, oh my god, it's called His Man 2. So the dating show is called His Man. So season 1 is His Man, and then season 2 is His Man 2. And so I was like, I'm gonna watch this, and like it was so cute, and I was like, this is adorable. And like the biggest drama that's happened is like this one guy likes the guy, because they drew roommates, and so 2 people get a single room, and then they each get a single room, and then 2 people are sharing a room on the 2nd floor, and then 2 people are sharing a room on the 1st floor. So this one guy likes his roommate that they're sharing a room together with, but he is like, oh, you know, this guy's a really good friend, like I see 100% friendship with him, and like the other guy is like head over heels for this guy, because he was like, my type is like someone who has like a really warm heart, but kind of looks like punk, or kind of looks like naughty, but has like a really warm heart. And this guy is like wearing a leather jacket, has 2 neck tattoos, and so he's his exact type, and so he really likes him, but the other guy only sees him as a friend. And so then they introduced a 7th person, and this is the biggest drama that's happened, is like the 7th person comes in, and the guy with the neck tattoos picked one guy to go on a date with, because they drew cards. A lot of this is like they get a mission and they have to draw cards. So this mission was like, if you got an arrow, you got to pick who you wanted to go on a date with, and there were 3 arrows and there were 3 hearts. And so if you got an arrow, you got to pick who of the hearts you wanted to go on a date with. And so the guy with the neck tattoos picked the guy he liked, but then a 7th guy came in, like after they gotten ready for the date and everything, and they were like, you get to pick who you want to go on a date with. Whoever's date is left alone has to stay at the house and doesn't get to go on a date. And he picked the guy that the guy with the neck tattoos likes, and he was like, yeah, you know, I like smiled and I clapped for them, but I was trying to keep it on my face that I was like, you know, okay, but I don't think I did a very good job. And then like he just kind of like laid down in his bed and like got on like the phones that they gave him, and was just kind of like laying down in his bed. Then the roommate came in and was like really hesitant to leave because he had a different date, because they both had arrows, so he couldn't pick his roommate.
Right.
But he didn't want to leave because he felt so bad. And I'm like, that's the biggest drama that's happened, and it's like cute. I'm like, this is adorable.
Well, I mean, yeah, good for South Korea. They have a gay dating show.
I know. I thought it was
very surprising, actually. But that does track that it's like a nice reality show, because the only like genuine joy I've ever gotten from a reality show is a Japanese one called Terrace House, which I love that one because it's like they take just a group of random people, put them in a house to live together, and they don't have to like have any romantic, like they're basically just living their lives in a house together, getting to know each other, romances can happen or friendships can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a group of like 3 or 4 comedians that comment on the show and it make it hilarious. And like, that's my favorite. Like, it is the best reality show ever because it's no pressure. Like, they're literally just living their lives. And like sometimes like spicy stuff happens and the comedians are like, oh, but like they freak out. It's really funny. Or then they're just like, it just shows them going to work or like taking up surfing because one of the seasons was in Hawaii. So there was a lot of like surfing stuff and it was just like, it's just so wholesome. Like, I don't know, it's so much better than American reality shows, which is just trash.
I'm like, I'm used to watching Love
Which I
Island.
love the trash sometimes.
I do love the trash. Like I said, my favorite is Love Island. I watch Love Island religiously. It is a toxic dumpster fire and I love every second of it. But to get to see this show, because I was like, oh, this is like, and I was not expecting it to be like so wholesome, and I was also not expecting it to like come from South Korea.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Or like be a reality show, because like, you know, you see like BL shows or like GL shows like in South Korea, Japan, China, Thailand, because I've been watching like a lot of the Thailand shows recently, and a lot of the times like, you know, they do this and because they know it's popular, but there have been like a lot of like older Thai BL shows, it comes out like the actor only did it for money because they knew it would get them popular, but they don't actually like support it. Whereas like nowadays, like there is getting more support and a lot of the actors are like, one of them literally is advocating for gay marriage in Thailand, even though they themselves are not gay, which is like, you know, good job.
Ally.
Speak, Valentina. Ally. But, so it was surprising to like, because when I saw the short, I figured it'd just be like another drama.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting it to be like a reality show for one, and then for it to be so cute, I'm like, oh,
that's awesome. Love that. Yeah, when you were like, I started a new reality show, I really, really thought you were going to say you were watching the ones where the moms date the other mom's sons. And I was like, I am so curious about that.
I have not watched MILF Manor.
Okay, yeah.
I've heard about MILF Manor. Found out there's a DILF Manor.
Oh, okay. God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to watch that. This might also be weirder, to be honest. The only thing I've ever heard about MILF Manor that was really weird is there's the one game where the moms have to pick out their son's underwear out of the group, and I'm
sorry,
like,
what?
Yes!
That's not a real thing.
It is! I've seen clips on TikTok. And, like, I so want to watch the show, but I'm so scared to watch the show. We might have to watch it sometime together, just to drink and...
We're not recording a YouTube after this. You want to start it?
Maybe, actually.
I've got a whole nother bottle and a half of wine downstairs.
Okay, well, I guess I should spin and then we're gonna go watch MILF Manor. I don't know how, like, it's like a weird psychology to a reality show pipeline here, but welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
We needed to kill 20 minutes and we did, so.
Success. Great success. Oh no!
That doesn't count. Or, I mean, it could, actually.
This is a disaster.
Don't hate what it landed on. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Should I spin the drink wheel again?
That's fine, unless you feel the need. Okay.
Our wheel is falling apart. Everything's falling apart.
Well, so what'd we get?
We got a person.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got creators/creatives, but what we have decided is that we're just going to kind of make it broader to just be like a person that we like or that we think...
Admire, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, in history or, like, past, you know, people that we admire, but, like, currently, like, you know, people that we are a fan of, that kind of thing. So that is what we have got for next week. So we're just going to talk about somebody that we are either a fan of or that we really admire, or just, you know, a person that we think we want to talk about.
Yeah, so just kind of broaden the creatives tagline.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll be drinking white wine again.
Okay. Twist our arm.
Yeah, twist my arm especially. I'll get turning leaf next week.
She's already got a plan.
A left turn and leave too.
See if you stick to it.
If I don't forget, I will stick to it, but if I do forget, who fucking knows?
I mean, as long as it's white.
Oh God, we have to do an outro.
This is you.
we have to exit this, so we can't just say bye. Okay, yeah, so if you would like to find us as a collective, you can find us at Sip in Spin Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you would like to find, or if you would like to email us, you can find, Jesus fucking Christ. If you would like to email us, you can email us at sipandspinpod@gmail.com. If you'd like to find Brittany, you can find her at Whimsy Dream or Whimsy Dreams. If you'd like to find me, you can find me at GleamYKS on literally everything. But as always, the 3 link trees will be down in the description below.
Yes. And we thank you for listening. Again, sorry I didn't have a segment this week, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel confident or comfortable doing something, so.
Fair enough. Oh, and
keep dropping this fucking phone. I got a new case on it. It's much slicker than my other one was.
Oh, yeah. It's some knockoff Swedish fish.
Yeah, it's from Five Below.
It's a sweet fish.
It's a sweet fish, but it still looks the same. It's the same packaging.
Yeah.
They're really testing the line here. But I love it. Same with my Pringles one.
I don't think I ever realized it said Pringles.
It doesn't say Pringles, but it's the exact thing. They just changed like one letter. It's from China.
I don't think I ever realized it didn't.
It's either Pringles or Pringles. Like, I can't remember, but it's not Pringles.
Because I remember the Pringles case, but I never, I guess, looked at the letters to, like, see that it didn't say Pringles.
I have another one that's supposed to be Tzatziki's, but it doesn't say tzatziki. I forget what that one says, but just like, it just...
I don't know what Tzatziki's is.
Or not Tzatziki's, that's the restaurant I used to eat at.
Oh.
Takis.
Oh! I do know what Takis are.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, I miss Tzatziki's. Me and Richard were talking about it earlier today. Anyway, that's a really good Greek restaurant. It's like a chain. It's surprisingly really good Greek food. I miss Greek food. But no, Takis. I have a Takis one, and I think it might be like takas, or I don't know. It's not Takis, but it makes me laugh. They make me laugh. I love my knockoff junk food.
There you go.
But yes, we will sip with you next time, and we'll talk about people.
Still got my Yunming Jong clan phone case with my lotus flower.
I mean, it's a very pretty one.
I still can't let go of the Untamed.
Every now and then I always see a bunch of Untamed stuff, and I'm like so tempted to send it to you, but I'm like, she's probably already seen it.
You can still send it to me anyways. I'll be happy with that. You can still send it to me anyways.
Okay, good to know. But yeah, we will catch you next week.
Yes, bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Also, I don't know if Skylar wanted to mention that the YouTube video that came out this week is a little different. Did you want to say anything about that?
Oh, yes. So, because I was thinking about something else, I'm going to be completely honest, because I had something else to tell you.
Oh, okay.
And so I was thinking about it, but I was going to wait till it was over, because I wasn't sure if you, but, because it went back to the reality show that I was watching. So, the subtitles overlap on Ichi, which is a website that, like the IQIYI, so Ichi, and because it's got Korean subtitles embedded in the video, and then you have to turn on English subtitles, and sometimes the subtitles overlap. It's still legible, but I was like, okay, I bet if I hit edit subtitle, I can move the subtitles.
I don't on YouTube.
No, on Ichi.
Oh, still, I don't think that's how that works.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I hit edit subtitle, and it was like, add your own translation, edit the translation.
Okay.
And I was like, oh God. And so I was like, I'm not qualified for this. So I hit X, and it was like, the changes you made may not be saved. And I was like,
please, I hope not.
I didn't make any changes. I don't think I made any changes. The second I realized where I was, I hit X. Did I make a change? And so then I was freaking out because, like, did I change something? And then it was like, and then it said may not be changed. And I'm like, you mean it could be saved? Like, what?
Who knows? 50-50.
It's like, so one, now I'm panicked that I made a change and didn't realize it. And two, that change may or may not be saved.
I feel like maybe the wording for May was a poor choice. You're probably fine. So you probably didn't change anything.
But, yes, so for our YouTube, that will be coming out.
It's already out.
Yes. That's what I was
It came out this week.
Well, because I was going to say that will be coming out Tuesday, so 3 days before this comes out.
If you're hearing this, it's already out.
Yes, if you're hearing this, it's already out. But it is our very first reaction video, which is something I've always loved watching. I love watching reaction videos. It's something I've always wanted to do. Like, I've always wanted to do, like, reaction or commentary videos. And so we finally did a reaction video, and I'm super excited about it. We did EXO, their new comeback, Cream Soda. We are a little late, but I was also late watching it myself. Like, I watched it like 2 weeks after it came out, just because I didn't think I could emotionally handle it. But then I decided, you know what, I'm going to make Brittany watch it, and we're going to record it and put it on YouTube. So if you are listening to this and you haven't watched it, please go check it out. Let us know what you think of it. Like, leave a comment, like, if it's a style that you like, or if you want us to continue doing it, or if you just absolutely hate it and think it's the worst thing ever.
Don't tell us this.
You can say that, but I probably won't listen, because I will still have fun doing it, even if nobody else likes it. Just because it's a lot of fun. But I really, really enjoyed making those videos, so hopefully you like watching them. And definitely, if you haven't watched it, go watch it and boost it. I don't know.
Boost.
Yeah, like, boost it in the algorithm. I don't know.
It's also our first one, so if you like it, we'll keep doing it, and hopefully they only get better. So.
Yes, because we're still trying to figure out as far as, like, you know, editing and trying to avoid copyright, and, like, because, you know, there's a lot that goes into that as far as reaction videos go. So yes, but
we're just vibing.
We're just vibing, and it's a lot of fun, and that's why I like it, because it is just genuinely, like, so much fun to do. Because, like, when I watch them by myself, there's multiple of me.
The voices in your head are there too.
Yeah, the voices are back. But when I watch it by myself, you know, I always have fun watching it, because, you know, seeing a new music video and hearing a new song from a group that you really like, or even a group that you're like, okay, I haven't heard of this group, but it's on my YouTube recommended, let's check it out and see what happens. And then liking it, it's a lot of fun. And then getting to do it again in a reaction form, and, like, because normally my reaction is, I have a Twitter, and I have a Stan Twitter, and I refuse to tell anybody what it is. You will never find out about it, hopefully. And if you do, please don't tell anybody. It's embarrassing.
Please don't tell her.
Please don't tell me that you found it. I don't need to know that. But normally my reactions are literally just me tweeting and, like, taking pictures of the music video as I'm watching it, posting it on Twitter, commenting on it. And so I'm, like, making my own little reactions, like, even long before this. So now finally get to do it in video form, and also getting to show it to Brittany, who probably doesn't even care, but I'm making her care, and it's fine.
I'm just vibing.
And they're just kind of easy videos to film and easy videos to edit, but at the same time, like, just because, and I say easy, but that's just because they're shorter. They don't take as long of a time as, like, a full-on gaming video would. So they're a lot of fun, and just something we can do, like, especially if we just want to relax and, like, have a good time. Like, reaction videos are, like, an easy way to do that and just have a good time. And I really had a good time. And you'll be evident, if you go watch the YouTube video, it will be evident in the video that I was having a good time.
From the first second, Skylar is just smiling.
Literally, the song and music video started, and I was immediately just, like, even talking about it now, I haven't stopped smiling this whole time I've been talking.
Yeah, so if you need some smiley Skylar in your life, go watch it.
But yeah, so definitely let us know what you think, and hopefully you like it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and if not, screw you. We had fun.
Yeah, or tell Brittany that you didn't like it, because don't tell me you didn't like it. I'm baby. I will cry.
Yeah, you can tell me. That's fine. I have no heart.
I'm just baby.
Okay, we're really going now.
Okay, yes. This is finally, we dragged it out long enough. Okay, bye.
Bye.